Alright, so in the last video, we torqued this nut, and I installed this plate here, and I just realized as I was going to install the gasket for this flange that you have to put the gasket on before you can install these bolts permanently. So luckily, even if you've already installed this nut, you can still take these bolts out and you can still line it up and get those bolts in. So those go. That one goes there. Same as before. The Loctite's not even close to dry yet, so no real concern with just continuing on. So right back in with these, and then like before, set the torque wrench back to 38 foot or 37 foot-pounds. There it is. One, two, three. So, now before you actually go ahead and seal this up, same as before, you want to clean these surfaces as well as possible. I have already gone ahead and cleaned these with, I've used a razor blade and then Scotch-Brite and acetone, and I'm going to go ahead and hit it one more time with acetone just to be sure. But I say this because some people, there's debate as to whether or not you even want to use a gasket here, because it's still recommended to use Gasket Maker or the Permatex. I think the gasket is a good idea because this flange, its sealing is based on how square these come together, because you've got this seam here. And so I think to just even have this this paper gasket that has a, only a couple thousandths cross section is better than, it's better than nothing when it comes to bridging that that seam. So I am a person that's in favor of still using the gasket here. Same with on the bell housing. So, but I'm also using the Gasket Maker, very similar to how it was installed on the sealing faces when the main case was getting sealed up. So you don't have to use quite as much though, because this area is, for one, it has the gasket, and two, it's just not under the same loading that the main case is under. So and yeah, this is going to, you're essentially going to put Gasket Maker on both sides of this paper gasket. The other side is going to be, you'll actually put it on the fifth gear housing cover. Not that. Okay. So the fifth gear housing cover is right here, and like I said, this has already been pretty thoroughly cleaned with a Scotch-Brite and with a razor blade to make sure there's nothing really on it, but the last thing is just to hit it with acetone to get any residual dirt or grease off. There we go. And after that happens, same thing. Take the gasket maker and go around here. Whew. Okay, so that's ready. Now putting this case back on is pretty hard to do while on the bench, and I think really the only way that you can do it is if the transmission is hanging off the bench like this. So because you have to, this is your selector, I don't know, linkage right here, and you have to line that up inside of here so that it's able to engage these forks in the future. So, and I'm not sure I'm going to be able to accurately show that, but you just have to kind of work it into place and then get it to drop in. And it's not in right now. Oh, is that it? Oh, there it is. I got it. So, now that this is in place, I'm going to go ahead and put all of these bolts in that go around the perimeter. And these ones, there's not really an order. The manual, none of the manuals I have an order. I still think it's a good idea to do the cross pattern. However, at least two of these, it's necessary to, they hold down a bracket as well. So, which this top one that I'm putting in right now is one of those. But at the moment, I'd rather just get that sealant curing in there as opposed to putting that bracket on. So I'm gonna kind of go around the edge with these, and then I'm gonna come back and torque them in the order. I don't know how many there are here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like there are 8 short 8mm bolts, and then there's 2 long ones. I could be wrong. Looks like there's an additional one. I might need to track down a bolt. Might have fallen off my workbench or something. Yeah, looks like it has. Anyway. Quite get that in there yet. Close. So with this, I'm going to go ahead and torque down all of my 8mm bolts now. Well, actually, let me go ahead and put in these 2 long ones that go right here and right here. So, and as a reminder, these get 2.5 decanewton meters or 25 newton meters, which is 18.5 foot-pounds. like I said, none of the manuals I have, and I've got a couple of them, indicate a specific order in which to torque these, so I would just use your judgment. But I think part of that is because this isn't really holding the case together. I mean, the bolts that hold the case together get heavily loaded with the case essentially trying to split as the transmission is doing its job. These ones are just holding the cover over fifth gear in place, and you're just trying to make sure it doesn't leak. So check and see if the bolt would be in there. Nope. Oh, nope, here it is. Last bolt goes right here. I also need to torque this one if I can get on it. Yeah, I can't get on that one. So I'm just going to have to do that one by feel. Okay. That one's really tight, so. Alright, almost there. Like that other one, I'm going to have to do this one by feel also. So just put the torque wrench, or the standard socket wrench, on one of the other bolts and kind of feel where it's at. Okay, and then, okay. And that's it. You can check to make sure you're good by essentially shifting this back and forth. It should slide in and out also. So when it's out of gear, it's in gear. There we go. So that's how you get left and right, and then yeah. So that's it. Next thing we'll be doing is setting the differential and getting the bell housing on. All right. Oh yeah, so one last thing you have to install is you have to install the fifth gear detent, and so that is this spring and ball that we took out at the very beginning. So that, you pretty much just drop that in there, drop the spring in, and then this plug goes back into place, and it gets driven in with a screwdriver. So. And there's no real torque spec on this, you just want it pretty tight. You don't want it too tight because otherwise you'll never be able to get it off again. So, just a word of warning. So, anyway, that's it.